Hello, hello. I got something to say, women around the world and men that support us. How the freak are you today? I mean, really, I've been getting so much information from you guys that I just want to come hug you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for truly telling me about your lives, telling me what you want to hear about, telling me the guests that you really appreciated. And also, I love the fact that you're like, Sandy, just keep it as real as possible. So today, me and Mihika are going to keep it as real as possible. Hello, Mihika. How are
Hi,
you?
Sandy. I am so happy to be here with you today.
So do you think we can keep it as real as possible?
I wouldn't want it any other way.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So before we started recording, Mahika had a very special day yesterday. Why don't you tell us what happened
I
yesterday?
did. So I graduated, quote unquote, or we celebrated the success of the completion of my Shadow Her program. Um, and so we had a fabulous celebration over 2 hours where myself and about nine other women who were mentees in the program, we were all celebrating our success along with our mentors. And
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
I
these
know you
last
said it
couple
was like
months.
amazing. You got so many connections, you got video, there's stuff
Yeah,
buzzing around.
lots of good positive buzz, but I think if there were one takeaway that I wanted to share with your listeners was there's a lot of people out in the world who talk about women supporting women, but not very many of them um, who actually walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And Sandy, you are one of them who does walk the walk. So thank you so much. And it's really fitting that that we're having this discussion today, the day after, because this
Right?
week, I mean, my cup is overflowing with all the good juju and the happiness and the joy. And I am could not be happier. I think this is something that all women need in their life, right? Somebody who is, a tribe that they can lean on. And I'm really happy to consider you to be one of those people in my tribe and someone that I can lean on. And we have a very good common friend who we both enjoy dearly, love dearly. And I honestly, I couldn't have expected this much. I knew it was going to be an experience and something that would be very memorable. I did not expect it to be this good. I mean, like
You
my heart
know,
was sad that it was quote unquote
over.
over. Yeah,
Yeah,
that we're not going
yeah.
to see each other every month like we have been the last several months, but it's just the beginning.
I so much wanted to get there and I was trying to finagle
Mm.
everything, but some family stuff happened and I couldn't. And I was just like, ah, I could feel the energy from here. I just knew it was like freaking awesome. All right. So before we get any further, because I know we could chat about that forever
Oh
because
my
it's
gosh,
such
that
a
could be the whole episode.
successful program. And oh my goodness, shout out to all those ladies. Let's read a little bit about you.
Ooh, okay.
I like that. Stay mighty, Mahika. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I have a question for you though,
Yeah, go for it.
before I read your bio.
Yes.
Is there something, I know I usually get into it later, but is there something you do every morning to get you in that powerful mindset?
I it's longer than other days, but I need some time to fill up my cup. Which is really to like, whether it's building up my social energy for the day or just getting in touch with myself because life as a busy mom of two and an entrepreneur, I mean, I consider my business almost to be my third child because it just takes so much. I give so much to it and it takes so much
Mm.
out of me and but yet it gives me so much gives me so much pride and joy, almost like a child. But yeah, before mom life kicks in, I'm like, we need to help Mihika life. We need to help like my life. And so just a few moments to just check in with myself, get in a workout, get those endorphins flowing. Every day I try to spend a little bit of time, if nothing, just a few minutes out in the sun, get some vitamin D. The grounding that I feel is incredible and it really sets me up for success where before when I wasn't doing these things, I always felt like my day was starting behind the eight ball and I was reacting to things and I didn't like that. It wasn't setting me up for success and I can
Mm.
see why. And what we can dig into this later in the conversation. The the turning points. And it was because I didn't have good habits. But this one habit has changed so much for me. It gives me so much clarity to spend that time with myself in the morning.
That's why I wanted to start off with that because the thing that you said, ladies and men that support us, did you hear? Every day it's not the same.
Yeah. Some days are
There,
better than others. Yeah.
yeah. And what you need every day isn't the same. I talk all the time about when I saw that, I wanted to make sure we highlighted it because I talk all about the minimum I do is 1 to 3 minutes a day. Like I go out,
Really?
I dance on the porch, and jump around, say my things out loud, and write my word down. I journal a teeny bit. But some days it's longer. But my bare ass minimum is no matter what, I'm getting that in. And then depending on what you need that day, it's an
Absolutely.
ant
Yeah.
and it's always can look different. Always can look different. So
Exactly.
I'm glad. All right, Mahika, let's tell them about you.
Okay.
Mihika Patel is the founder of One Mighty Mama and speaks to high performing women who are doing all the things, carrying all the things, remembering all the things, and somehow still staying. I'm fine. I'm fine. When you ask them, how you doing? For real. I'm fine. Her work helps women prevent burnout, reduce decision fatigue, and create tiny but mighty systems that make life, work, and leadership feel more sustainable. She's especially passionate about bringing this message to women's leadership events, team retreats, conferences, ERG programs, chambers, and organizations that care about helping their people thrive without running on empty. Not that we know any of those peeps,
Wherever were those peeps.
or are those peeps, on any given day. Okay. So, when I asked you what your power statement would be of all the things you could pick,
I had to think long and hard about this one.
burnout is not the price of ambition. Tell us more.
I think we think that's part of it, right? Success has been drilled into us. What does success look like? It means staying late. It means, working on the weekends. It's like a badge of honor. And I don't think it has to be that way. I do not think it has to be that way. That does not have to be the secret sauce
Mm,
to your success, that you are working all the crazy odd hours. I remember when I was in corporate, you would get emails from someone on the team at like 8 p.m. and you're like, oh, wow, the person's working late. Like, what a hard worker. And now I feel like finally the narrative is starting to change. Like, well, maybe that person's just not managing their time very well. Like, what do you mean you can't get that stuff done, like during normal working hours? Like, why does it require you to
mm,
overextend so much? Or it could be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I took a little break earlier in the evening and now I'm getting back on. But I don't think we have to wear it as a badge of honor that we're working 60 hours a week and everything that comes along with it, which is overextending ourselves
yeah.
mentally, physically. And then the result is that you end up feeling burnt out. And of course, this is not, in the short term. This is if you continue doing that over the long term, over months, over years. This is the impact that it has on you. And, at some point, those boundaries go out the window and you're just like, yep, I'm always available to do work. And I don't think it has to be that way. I think you can still live a life where your personal life, your work life, your leadership, all of that can not only be sustainable, but it can also be enjoyable. It does not have to result in burnout.
Oh my God, you just made me think of something because I'm cracking up. I, not saying I didn't feel overwhelmed at times, of course I did. But most times, I mean, I owned and operated several health clubs and I didn't
Mm.
feel burnout. And I had time with my family. I feel that when I would, at the time, when I would say, how things going? Oh, great, joyful, blah, 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 blah. You almost got the sense that you shouldn't say that. If you do, you're not going to be successful.
You're not working hard enough.
Yeah. And my joyful attitude, I'll never forget this. I haven't thought about this in a while. One of my mentors said, you are going to be so underestimated. It is going to be your secret weapon because
Mm.
you're so joyful. And then if you're that joyful and pippy skippy, you can't be really working on the business end and making sure the money's coming in. And that made no sense to
What a
me.
shame. Yeah.
Now it's changing though. Like you're
Yeah.
right. It used to be like I got an email from a lovely lady. She got back to me at 12 a.m. last night. And maybe she is a night bird. Like there are people that love working at
Mhm.
night and she sleep whatever. But I do think it's not the same thing. Like, oh my God, did you meet Sally Beth, right? She works 80 hours a week. No, you're like, you hope. No, wait, I don't want you working unless it fires you up. And maybe there's a week that it's needed.
Yeah. Yep. A week, not a month, not a year.
Not like, oh my God, but I did. I just heard it recently. There was a podcast, and the woman, and she is very, very successful. We won't say her name, but everyone will know her name. And she was bragging, there's nobody that works as hard as me. There's nobody. And she was really, really proud of it.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a great example.
no, I don't think so either. I think it's sending the message that you have to sacrifice just about everything else that brings joy to you in your life, that makes you happy in
Yeah.
order to make your business successful. And I don't think that's possible. I want to look back when I'm in my, 50s, 60s, 70s and think I built this incredible thing, but I was also there for the moments that mattered,
Yeah.
right? Down to, from like the basic soccer games to the big events. But I was there, I was present for my
Mm,
kids, for my husband, for the people I care about. I don't want to sacrifice that and then be like, oh, but look at my business. I'm like a cajillionaire. I'm like, that would not mean much to me if I didn't have everything else that gave me that happiness and joy. And I don't think it has to be that way anymore. I think you can, in integrity, keep all of that.
yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
those balls that we're juggling, we can keep all of them in the air. We do not have to let all of those crash for the sake of this one ball.
I agree. Okay. I love this. And you did touch on it. Choose one tiny but mighty shit. Like, don't freaking try to do all of it.
And that's what we want to do, right? We want to do all of it. And sure, you can do all of it. You just can't do all of it right now,
Yeah.
like in this moment. But sure, can you do it all? Can you do all of it this year? Depending on what all of it entails. Yeah, you can do a good chunk of it, but you just can't do all of it right now. And this is something I have to tell my kids all the time because they're like, well, we have the summer coming. We're going to do all these things. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we focus on like one or two of those things for the first week or two, and then we'll move on to the next one. Because I know what happens is we all, and this is something that's also ingrained in us in a young age, that we try to do it all. And what ends up happening is you get none of it done, right? Like
So true.
the impact, what we eventually want is to get these things done. And sure, I can show you the path to get there, but it's not going to be everything at once. Like focus on a few of them right now, or better yet, just one of them. And once you get that one down, nailed down, focus on the next one. I mean, this is obviously a very, very rudimentary example, but that's really the key. Tiny and mighty. Don't go big, go small, go tiny, go mighty.
So, would you recommend to someone who is having an like challenge with this, should they pick the most important thing at first or the lowest hanging fruit?
That's a tough one. I think it depends on if the lowest hanging fruit will give them any satisfaction, right? Like, or is it so low hanging that you're just like by doing this, sure you'll get the momentum, but and maybe that's a good thing, right? I think it's
Mhm.
hard for me to decide what the right move is, but if you go big, then that might take a little bit of time to nail
Yeah.
down. Whereas the low hanging fruit, you might be able to take care of that in the very near short term. So I think it depends on your personality. Do you need that momentum boost or do you want the satisfaction of having completed something worthwhile? So depending on which one you're looking for will determine if it's the larger project or the smaller, lower hanging fruit project.
Okay. So, to make sure I'm hearing this right, in that day, what is going to make me feel the best if I do it. So at the end of the night, when I'm sitting there writing in my journal, in my jammies,
Yep.
what am I going to feel good about that I accomplished? And I might need that day to check off a few things that are easy because that's what I need to do.
You might
Or
need
it
the
might
quick
be,
win.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or I might need, like, listen, let's just tackle that one big thing that I've been putting off.
exactly.
Okay.
It's up to you. You are in control, right? This is your day, this is your life.
I like that.
But I would say just focus on one. Don't be like, well, let me pick like the top three big pieces or like seven of these tiny ones. Like, don't do that.
I got you, babe. I love it. I freaking love it. All right. Now, I have this visual. I'm sorry. I
This
have
is
these
awesome. I
stories.
love this. I love this. We could do this
I
all
have this.
day.
Right. I have these stories inside my head. I told you it's very conversational.
I am here for it.
When I saw Get the Thought Out of Your Head, I had this visual of the song I heard years ago, like step into my brain, step into my brain. Because it's so true. You gotta get it freaking out of your head. So tell us the best way to do that.
So there's a couple different ways I like to get my thoughts out of my head. I mean, of course, there's writing it down, right? The act of releasing and reflecting. Um, I am such a strong proponent of it that I even published a whole entire journal about it. That because I was just like, oh, this is a fun little thing that I kind of honestly I just had living in a notebook and it was handwritten, and yeah, it started gathering some interest and I formalized it, published it, made it really nice and pretty in all my branding colors and like the sparkles, and I mean honestly, it is so stinking pretty.
Where
Um,
is it?
it's right here. I can show you. I can show you. I have a copy right here because one stays with me all the time wherever I go. And it's pretty and it's purple and
Oh, I
it just
love it.
has all these pretty pages. This is one of my favorite pages in the whole book. It is a monthly mood tracker that when it's filled out, what you're able to do is from afar, you're able to see. And so I have mood stickers that go along with this that are either red, yellow, or green. And you can kind of write next to it like, hey, how are you feeling? Are you feeling really motivated? Or are you feeling
Mm,
anxious? Are you feeling frustrated and distraught or whatever? But the whole idea is that from afar, you're able to take a look and see, am I seeing more greens, more yellows, or more reds? Because what I have found is that our mind is a very unreliable narrator. Like you can't just think back and be like, man, that was a really good month. Like May was awesome and I was always so happy and this, that, and the other. But like when you take the time to check in with yourself every single day, you're like, oh, okay. And not to bring you down, but this is more like a diagnostic tool almost, right? Like information for
yeah.
you to know, hey, were those yellow and red days happening during a certain time of the month? Was something going on then, right? Whether internally, externally, you know, just to give you some information and for you to stop and think, okay, what happened at that time that caused me to feel this way? Because maybe it wasn't even a bad thing. Maybe it was, who knows? It could have been any number of things, right? It could be something happening with you physiologically. It could be something that someone said to you. It could be an event maybe that was making you anxious leading up to it. Any number of things, but that having that information helps you then combat it the following month. But things like this, reflection doesn't have to be writing prose, right? Writing pages and pages and pages of information. Sometimes something like this can give you the information that you need to then take action. And for me, that's what reflection is all about. I'm not reflecting for the sake of reflecting. I want to reflect so that
Yeah.
I can be better the next day, the next hour, the next month, the next year. I want to see that year over year growth. And you can't do that unless you look in. I think everyone's always looking for that external band-aid, but really it's coming from what's internal. So, one way I do my releasing and reflecting is by writing it down in this journal.
Mm.
On some
I
days,
love
I'm in
that.
the
I
mood
love that. And I
to
love
write
that
more.
mood tracker.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I have little pretty mandalas and I designed this whole thing myself as well. Cause I'm like, what would I want to use? Like, let's be frank here. What would I want to see? I mean, in early iterations, it
Yeah.
was just, like dates in a notebook. So not pretty, but still effective. But I'm like, I want pretty and effective. Why can't I have both? was like, there's got to be a way to do both. And then the other way I release and reflect is through voice memos. I record voice memos because sometimes I'm on the go. Sometimes I don't have the time to sit there and write, but I have like things up
These thoughts.
here that
I love that.
need to come out. So a voice memo is fantastic because it's no, I mean, I can be as unhinged as I want, right?
So, question.
Sure.
I get saying out loud, right? I'm all about that. I get the journaling. I got
Hmm.
that.
Yep.
Why are you recording it so you can listen back to it?
Yes.
Why recording?
It's really important that you record it because, and again, this is not something that you're ever going to share with another person unless you want to. But I actually
Hmm.
recommend you don't because once even with a spouse, right? Even with someone who's very close to you, because it should never, you want it to be completely unfiltered. I mean, there's times where I'm literally crying, like bawling my eyes out on a voice memo because I want to know. And the beauty of voice memos, it records the time and the date. I want to know how I was feeling on that day because, again, our minds are unreliable narrators. And many times we tend to forget these types of things. I want to look back 6 months from now, 12 months from now, and see. And, I sometimes I go back and I listen to these voice memos. So I categorize them in my phone. Like if you have an iPhone, you can put them in different folders, even. Sometimes my voice memos are just like mental, like verbal vomits of my to-do list, but other times they're reflections. I want to make sure I put those in a separate folder. I will listen back and I will think to myself, you know what? That thing that was bothering me in like, I don't know, January of 2026, it doesn't sting as much anymore. It's not bothering me as much. And that is a true indicator of your growth.
Okay, I have so many questions. That's a whole
Yes,
nother
yes. Bring them
podcast.
on. Bring them
But
on.
but I want to understand. So I think this is a valuable tool, and no one has mentioned this in all these years. So I want to make sure we get
Oh,
this.
okay.
When you're listening to it, do you list like it might be a few seconds, or could it be long? Is there
It
all
could be
different?
minutes long. It could be several minutes long. Usually I'm doing it, to be honest, while I'm driving.
Okay.
Because
And
that's when I mean, not the crying part. Yeah, that was that. I was not driving when I did that. But many
oh,
times
I'm sorry.
it's like you just have something that's really frustrating, and
Right.
many times as I'm talking through it, I'll start working it out.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't always listen back to it though.
Not always, not and definitely not immediately. Like even that one that I told you where I was crying, I that was, I don't know, 6 weeks ago maybe. But I probably won't listen to that again until maybe, I don't know, a few months from now.
Got you. And do you label them besides the date being on it, like what the topic is?
Sometimes the labels could be, I mean, the date and the time is already there. And the way that like the iPhone it works, it's it'll capture your location of where you started. But because I'm driving
Ooh.
when I do it, it'll be like Willow Grove Interchange. Which is when I started the recording, but who knows where I am after that. So the description that it naturally automatically gives it is not very telling. But sometimes I'll put something on, sometimes I won't.
Yeah,
Um, honestly, because it's like, how do you describe the one overarching thought that your mind has gone through when you've covered like 25 different things?
yeah.
Um, like
I
I
like,
wouldn't call that one like, oh, very sad, lots of crying. Like I don't
no,
even know how to describe it.
yeah, no, I like it. And I'll tell you why I like it. Even when I was writing my books, a lot of it I was dictating.
Yes.
And I had my best thoughts when I was dictating and saying it. And sometimes even my assistant would come and she would just listen to me say it out loud. And it was so much free flowing and creativity. Yeah, it had to be figured out for the book, but it was so much more raw, even than for me writing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I think you speak faster than you write.
Yeah.
Like even typing, I sometimes the thoughts are just coming. You're in flow mode, right?
Yeah.
Um, I can't write that fast, and honestly, I can't even type that fast sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I
Yeah.
need to be in motion. I think I've heard this from a few people. They're like, if I need to really get my creative juices flowing, like when I'm putting together a new keynote or I'm like working through a section, I'm like, okay, this feels really clunky and awkward. Like, how can I smoothen this out?
Yeah.
Um, I gotta take it on the road. Like I gotta go for a walk.
Yeah.
or run or be in the car. Like I
Yeah.
can't just be here in my office sitting stationary.
Yeah. My dog, I don't know if he would say anything. He's now 13, but I always take him out for a walk when I want to
Yeah.
create. And he's like, oh no, we have to listen to that again.
Yeah. So she's not paying any attention to me.
God, here she goes again, the same thing. All right, we're gonna move on. I got it. I
Okay,
got it.
let's
I
do
got
this.
to
Let's
get
do
this
this. We have a
in.
lot of ground
All
to
right.
cover.
Create a repeatable system for one reoccurring stress point. All right, give us specific examples.
Oh my gosh. The bane of my mom life existence is, Mama, what's for dinner tonight? And instead of going through that whole process every single night, which, I start thinking about it like in the morning because my son will come down ready to go to school and he's like, "Oh, what are we having for dinner tonight?" I'm like, "It's like 7:30 in the morning. Like I haven't even thought about lunch and you're asking me about dinner." So what I found is batching my tasks. And I do this professionally all the time, right? Like for emails or like any LinkedIn work or any social media work, I will batch them all. Like I won't do a little bit every single day of the week because I feel like just getting the gears all warmed up and stuff takes time every single time you do it.
Gotcha.
And like, why don't I just get the gears warmed up once and then just crank it all out for the week? And then
Gotcha.
I was like, well, what else can I apply this to? So I do all my meal planning and honestly, the most of my meal prepping even on like Sunday and Monday. So Sunday I'll figure out what all I want to make for the week. And now, sometimes I'll take other people's, preferences into account. And other days I'm just like, yep, this is gonna be a me, myself, and I kind of project. And whatever I say goes. Um, and then I have to kind of overlay like what's going on with the week. Do we have soccer games this evening, or do the kids have something going on at school, or do I have an evening event that I have to go to, or is my husband not going to be around? Taking all of that into account. So I'm like, do I want a heavy lift kind of meal, or do I want like a really light lift kind of meal? Or heck, is it like a takeout kind of night? So I think about all of that on Sunday night. So when I'm in the thick of things, right? Mom life,
Yeah.
entrepreneur life, I know that I've already taken into account all these things. I don't then have to think, oh my God, we're not even going to be home tonight. And I made this like elaborate plan of a meal that I just don't have the time to do anymore, right?
Yeah.
Or nor do I
Yeah.
want to give that time. So taking all of those decision-making processes out and taking care of them earlier in the week makes the week go so much more seamlessly. And I don't have to be stressed. I don't have to be yelling and, basically showing up as a lesser and less nicer version of myself for the people that I care about and love, right? The ones who deserve the best of me are
Yeah.
honestly, many times they just get the rest of me. And I'm like, that's not fair.
Ooh, I love that line.
Yes, yes.
I love the rest of me.
This is the kind of stuff that comes when you're in free flow state, right? Like I'm out for a walk one day and I'm like, they deserve the best of me, not leftover. No, no, not the rest of me.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I freaking love that because you'll remember it. You're like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that's what they're getting. Okay.
That is 100% what they're
So,
getting. Yeah.
and I love the line, like, just say to yourself next time, how could I make this easier? I
Yep.
love that.
Yeah. And I mean, give yourself grace, right? Like I have this whole system in place, and yet there are some weeks where I just cannot get to it. And there's some weeks where
Yeah.
like Tuesday afternoon, I'm like, okay, well, let's figure it out. What are we doing tonight? And we pivot and we go. I don't beat myself up about it. I try to be better next Sunday. End of story. Like
End of
we
story.
are the worst possible critics for ourselves. And I'm like, look, everyone else is already on that bandwagon. I do not need to add my own negative opinions to the mix.
All right, we're going to touch on this quick because I want to get the last one in
Yes.
and make it all, baby, happen with this stuff because these are really great tips for people. Pause before you say yes. Take a beat, take a step back.
Take a moment. Take a moment. I think we're all so inclined to, be so darn likable and be
Gamma.
so like friendly and especially when, I don't know if it was worse when I was in corporate or not, or worse now. I'm also very involved with a local nonprofit and I sit on their board. And many times, like even just before getting on this call, I had to stop and think 3 times because they have an event coming up and they were like, hey, can you volunteer? And the old Mihika, from a couple years ago would have been like, yes, 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 me, right here. I want to do all of the things. And
Yes.
what ended up happening was by doing all of the things, I wasn't doing any of the things that were actually truly important to me. Um, I was doing things for others, and
Yeah.
I wasn't, I was kind of putting off to the side the things that I needed for my business to get done, for my family to get done.
Mm.
And to be honest, just for my own sanity. Sometimes I'll have mornings that are blocked off for no particular reason than just to be with myself. Like, let this morning be the one where I am, just lazily going through my laundry. I don't have to turn it into like a 10-minute marathon event. Like I can
Yeah.
spend 30 minutes and like peacefully fold my laundry while watching my favorite Netflix show. Like, why can't I give myself that? Once a week, once a month. Like if I can position those things that give me joy, I mean, of course, doing the laundry doesn't give me joy, but having laundry done, that gives me joy.
Yeah. Yes. Woohoo!
Yes, yes. So I took it upon myself to like, okay, Mihika, just stop. Nobody needs an answer within 30 seconds of sending an email. Or if it's an in-person conversation, I'll be like, hey, give me a few, let me look at my calendar and I'll get back to you. And I am one of those very digital people who, for some inexplicable reason, I have my planner all on paper. Like I can't do it on my phone. And they're like, but you have your phone. I'm like, correct, I have my phone, but my phone doesn't have my most up-to-date schedule on it. Like
But
that
you don't
up-to-date
like it.
schedule,
You don't
I
want
don't
to
like it. It doesn't work for me. I mean,
yeah.
do I wish it worked for me? Yes. Have I had people, including my husband, who is like the king of tech, help me try to figure it out? Yes. And I'm just like, you know what? I still just don't like it. I'm like, what's wrong with me and my planner? I have diligently always used this one company's planner for years now. Like nothing fancy. I get it at Target, right? But it works. I'm like, why mess up something that's already working? So anyway, that's the excuse that I give. I mean, not that it's an excuse, but I'm like, hey, I'll get back to you. And I'm like, that extra hour, extra day or two gives me some time to live with it. Like, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? How does it make me feel? If it's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal and it's not taking away anything else from, things that are priorities for me, then I'll say yes. But if I feel even an inkling of hesitation, I'm like, yep, sorry, it won't work for me. And I don't feel the need to explain. I used to over justify, over explain, but you see, I've
Yeah.
got this, that, and the other thing going on, and I don't anymore.
It's a
No is a
yeah.
complete sentence, right?
Yeah. And as much as I hear, I still I was gonna say every single month need reminders. No, I need reminders every single day.
Oh, yes.
Especially if you're changing a habit and people are so used to, and I can tell you this, that Sandy's your go-to person, Mahika's your go-to girl. It can take a beat for them to be like, well, wait a minute. She always said yes to everything.
Yep.
And
And
they're,
it didn't serve her.
yeah.
It
All
didn't serve
right,
her.
here we go.
Okay.
We're getting to it, baby. Number 5, track
Okay.
your energy, not just your time.
It's not the same thing. It is not the same thing. I try to change things up per how I'm feeling, per my energy. Of course, there's times, especially before like a big event, especially before I'm the one who's
Mhm.
facilitating or speaking, I need to get on stage. I have to manufacture ways to create that positive energy because sometimes it's simply not there. So knowing yourself is really important. And
Yeah,
the only way you can know yourself is to be in tuned with your energy. Because on days when it doesn't matter, right? Like on days when, it's just me, myself, and I getting work done in the office, I can lean into those times where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm feeling in flow state. I better take advantage of this. I better start going for a walk and, or get on the treadmill, depending on the weather, and start voice memoing because there's some really good ideas cooking here and I need to like lean into that. And then other times I'm like, oh, well, I need to like create some new material or I need to like dig into this because it's a little clunky, but I'm just not feeling it. And I give myself the permission to be like, okay, well, why don't you do something that does fill your cup, even for 10 minutes, even if it's just a nap, right? Because if I'm feeling like sleep deprived,
okay.
my brain doesn't work properly.
Nope.
And I give myself permission, 10 minutes, 20 minutes max and then I will get my butt up. Like even if I don't feel like it then, I feel even more tired. I'm like, but let me just get up because as soon as I get past the 30, 40 minute mark, I'm like, then I'm done. Then
Yeah. No, no.
nothing
Oh,
good's
night,
coming out of
night.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been really integral, especially when I need to create that, manufacture it artificially, if you will, on
Yeah.
days when I'm really not feeling it. I'm like, okay, well, let me just give myself some grace, go for a 10-minute walk, call up a good friend, even just calling my husband and being like, hey, I'm having a really crappy day. Like, do you have a couple of minutes to talk about this? And I will just share it with him, and I instantly feel better. Because he has a very pragmatic way of looking at things. And he's like, well, it doesn't have to be like that. What if it were like this? And I'm like, oh my God, that was the missing point that I
That's
hadn't thought about
awesome.
it that way. But you need to know what those tools are, and you can't do that if you haven't been listening. Because your body and your mind are telling you these things. We just don't take the time to listen because we're like, go, 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 go. But just taking a few moments, it doesn't have to be like all day, but even a few moments can help you figure those things out.
Yeah. I love tracking your energy. Freaking love it.
Yes.
And I don't do
Game
that.
changer. Total game changer.
Yeah. I'm going to add that in. Whoa, I'm so awesome that you are on this show. It's so awesome. This is freaking incredible. I can't think of a woman around the world and men that support us.
And men who are allies, yes.
Yeah, that wouldn't benefit from this information. It's freaking awesome. And I love the way you really break it down. I mean, it's doable. It's doable.
And that's the only way, like if I created this like 25 step like framework that was super complex, sure, maybe people would be impressed by it, but would you actually do it?
Yeah,
Like, would you actually follow it? And
yeah,
if you don't, then like, what the heck's the point? Like, you can go into Chat GPT and create a 25 step, incredibly complex process. Um,
yeah, you can.
but if you're not going to follow it, then what the heck good is it? Or if you're only going to follow it once and you're like, man, that took like, a big chunk of my life out of me for the day. Like, I can't foresee myself doing that ever again. Again, what's the point? I think
Yeah.
you have to go tiny but mighty. And mighty meaning it's the impact, tiny is the effort.
I love it. I love that. Tiny but mighty. All right. Tomorrow morning, you get the whisper in every woman's ear and men that support us. One thing. What do you want to whisper in their ear? What do you want them to know?
I want them to know this. And this is one of my favorite quotes. It's by Henry Ford. And I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So watch what you tell your thoughts because your mind is listening. Watch what you allow to have your mind be exposed to.
Go, Henry.
Yes, yes.
It's so true. All right. Tell us everything about how they can find you and reach you and
Yeah,
work with
so
you
I
and
am
book you. Did I
and
miss
book me.
anything?
Yes. Oh my God, please. Yes. So you can find me on my LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to reach me for more of like the professional updates and things like that. The more polished, somewhat polished, you know, pinned up version of Mihika. And if you want more of the fun side of Mihika, you want to learn more about, how I really implement my tiny but mighty. Honestly, on a daily basis, I talk about my workouts. I talk about, also my professional things, but I give my unhinged opinions on things too. Um, Lately, I've been giving a lot of opinions on networking, on, how networking can really become your secret tool to all the success that you want, even if you're not an entrepreneur, also just an intrapreneur, right? Like you are your brand. Um,
Mm.
so I like to talk about things like that. And so you get a slightly unfiltered version of me on Instagram, but those are both ways to reach me. So on LinkedIn, it's Mihika Patel. I'm pretty much the only one. I mean, there's a few others of us who also have this incredible name, but on Instagram, I'm one mighty mama underscore, and that's the
Oh, I
number
like
one,
that.
not ONE. Yeah. And yeah, you can find me on my website, onemightymama.com. Again, just the number, not spelled
I
out.
love it.
And I am also on YouTube. But honestly, if you follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram, that's the crux of it right there.
You got it. All right, my hey, I got something to say, ladies around the world and men that support us. Come on. Who would benefit from this episode? We would really appreciate you sharing, liking it, and rating it. And you know what I'm going to say? Until next time, toodles. Thanks, Mahika.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Bye, guys.